HIVE Digital Technologies is a global leader in building and operating cutting-edge data centers. From Bitcoin to high-performance computing, HIVE is powering the world's most transformative technologies with AI, with efficient and green, clean energy. With me is Aidan Killick, the president and CEO. Great to have you here. And I gave a little explanation, but explain in more depth. What does HIVE do exactly?
Yeah, so HIVE is actually the first publicly traded cryptocurrency mining company ever. It went public in September of 2017.
Okay.
We've navigated a Bitcoin halving. We've navigated Ethereum merge. We built our own ASIC mining server with Intel, and we've also pivoted into AI compute with our fleet of NVIDIA GPUs. So HIVE is an innovative technology company. We operate in Canada, Sweden, and now Paraguay. We're listed on the NASDAQ, we're listed on the TSXV and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange as well. We're fully powered by green energy, with hydro energy being the source of power in Paraguay, Sweden, and Canada. And 2025 is the year of HIVE with 4x growth. It's been a 5-year overnight success.
Yeah, well, let's talk about your growth. Explain where you are, what's your strategy, where do you want to go?
Yeah, so we recently announced a landmark deal in Paraguay where we were building our own 100 megawatt data center. And recently we announced the acquisition of another 200 megawatt data center in Paraguay, powered by the hydroelectric energy from the Itaipu Dam. The Itaipu Dam is the largest hydro dam in the Western Hemisphere.
And that's in Paraguay.
That is in Paraguay. It powers Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina.
Okay.
This is big. It is as big as the Three Gorges Dam in terms of annual generation. And we now have 300 megawatts of growth in Paraguay. What that means is we go from producing over 3 Bitcoin a day to over 10 Bitcoin a day by this fall. But what's really exciting, because of the acquisition, we purchased a site that was 95% complete. And that was announced about a month ago, and we've just completed the first phase of that site. So we're actually tripling our growth this summer, and we're doing it with no debt.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really exciting, HIVE is about a $250 million market cap right now. But as of March 31st, our fiscal year end, we ended the year with over 2,200 Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That's about $200 million of Bitcoin on the balance sheet mined with green energy. Our market cap's at 250 million. And we're doing about $20 million of annualized revenue from our AI business for a target this quarter. We recently hit $10 million of annualized revenue last quarter. So you think about the growth of doubling our AI revenue, quadrupling our Bitcoin mining revenue. 2025 is going to be a transformative year for HIVE.
Okay, I definitely want to ask you a couple questions based on that, but let's talk about Bitcoin prices.
You bet.
Of course, hit a record. Was that January, December? We were 108,000.
Yeah.
How are you tied to the price of Bitcoin? Where do you see Bitcoin going and cryptocurrencies in general fitting into the future?
Two very good questions. So we're directly proportionally related to the price of Bitcoin in terms of profitability. Bitcoin goes up, our revenue goes up. It's a one-to-one relationship. Okay. Now, what's really exciting is last week we saw 5-month highs in terms of capital inflows to the US Bitcoin ETFs. $3 billion of inflows to the US ETFs last week. Now, today, the US Bitcoin ETFs hold about 1.1 million Bitcoin collectively. That represents over $100 billion of market value held by the US Bitcoin ETF. So what we're seeing is a lot of institutional adoption. We're seeing a lot of ways for people in the US, investors globally, to buy Bitcoin either through an ETF or through spot. And I think that Bitcoin, coming up from lows of 78,000 earlier this year, as of this week, we've seen Bitcoin hit 95,000. I think it's outperformed a lot of the market indices. I think it's showing a lot of resilience as an asset class. Last week, we saw Bitcoin hit a top 5 asset value globally.
Yeah, I saw that too.
After gold, and you had Microsoft and NVIDIA and Apple and then Bitcoin. So as of today, it's a top 10 asset globally. It's more valuable than Berkshire Hathaway, Tesla, and Meta, which is crazy to think about. So we're really excited. We think that the Trump administration is doing great things for Bitcoin. We think that really 2025 will be a breakout year. I think the 108,000 that we saw was the first whispers of a real bull market. A lot of the industry experts based on technical analysis and historical trends, Bitcoin's on a 4-year cycle. Every 4 years there's a halving. And what happens to the miners is half the amount of Bitcoin gets produced. So there's economic scarcity, but because it has a fundamental cost to produce, the value of Bitcoin tends to rise on a 4-year cycle. So in 2020, we saw a new all-time high after the halving of 63,000 in February 2021 and 72,000 November 2021. Prior to that, the all-time high in 2017 was 20,000.
Okay.
So you go 20,000 to 63,000 to 72. That's a 3-4x growth. And so this cycle, I think people are thinking $200,000 Bitcoin is not out of the question, but we'll see.
Yeah, so we will see. So, so what's the future then for HIVE? I mean, you explained a little bit, but what's kind of your strategic plan?
Yeah, so our target is to be 3% of the global Bitcoin mining network. If we're doing that, we are producing over 10 Bitcoin per day, which would be over $1 million of revenue from our Bitcoin mining business. Our target is to be at 25 exahash by this fall, which again would be about 3% of the global network based on current network statistics. And really, by being a decentralized company with operations in Sweden, Canada, and Paraguay, we huddle over 9 time zones every day. In Vancouver, where I'm based, our head office is in San Antonio, by the way. We start our day at 7 a.m. And really, our company goes around the clock because crypto never sleeps.
Absolutely.
We know money never sleeps.
Yeah.
And at HIVE, we have a really high performance culture. We lead the sector in having the lowest G&A per Bitcoin mined. We have some of the best data center uptime in the sector. And with 2,200 Bitcoin on the balance sheet as of March 31st, I think that HIVE is an incredible value right now because with a $250 million market cap, I think we're an incredibly attractive buy for shareholders, especially with the 4x growth on our Bitcoin production this year.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming in and explaining HIVE, and what an interesting company.
Yeah,
so.
I'm thrilled. I'm super proud of my team, and it's a great time to be a HIVE shareholder, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Aiden.
Thank you.
Thanks.